If you've heard anything about the housing market right now at the end of 2025, you know that it's a buyer's market and all the power is in your hands. In this video, I'm going to break down how to write a strong offer, including what to offer, what to ask for, and how to know if you're getting a good deal. I'm Annalise Kurowski, and I am a real estate agent with JPAR Modern Real Estate, and I am helping so many buyers right now capitalize on this buyer's market and get such a good deal. First, let's talk about what a buyer's market is. A buyer's market is determined by the amount of homes available versus active buyers. Right now, we have 4 months of inventory for single family homes and very, very few buyers, making the days on market very high and our closed listings very low. You will see that days on market are 30 plus. You will see that there are many price drops and sellers offering incentives to the buyer, whether that be in concessions for closing costs or rate buy downs. For reference, in June of 2025, our average days on market in the Denver metro was 33 days, which was 26% up from the year prior. That our days on market are 66 days. So you could totally see that we are in a buyer's market. My number one tip when writing your offer in a buyer's market is ask for concessions. And if a seller is not offering concessions or denies your request for concessions, walk. What are concessions? Concessions is cash from the seller paid to you at closing to pay off rate buy downs and closing costs. Closing costs are the fees you pay to finalize your loan. You can assume to pay 1 to 3% of your purchase price on closing costs. So it can add up. So it's very helpful if a seller can pay all or some of those fees. A rate buy down is where you can buy down your rate over time. For example, you can have a seller pay for a 2-1 buy down, which means, let's say the current interest rate as of right now is 6.28. For a 2-1 buy down, the first year you would have a 4.28, the second year 5.28, and then you'd go back up to that 6.28. Our hopes are in the next 2 to 3 years, you will want to refinance because you didn't pay for that buy down. So our hopes, where we think the interest rates are going, that you can lock in a low rate. Make sure to strategize with your lender and your agent to figure out how much concessions you can receive in the contract. Your down payment determines how much you can receive. So if you put down 3%, you can only receive 3% in concessions. But remember, you have to pay your down payment. The concessions cannot cover that. They can only cover rate buy downs and closing costs. You can't walk away with a check full of money from the contract. You need to disperse those funds. Let's talk about when to offer under asking and how much to offer under asking when you're writing your contract. Your agent is going to guide you into how much you should offer, but go off data, not off emotion. So your agent should be pulling all the comps in that area for that couple months prior, but I would also encourage you to have them pull the comps for a year prior or for a seller's market so you can understand what that house would be going for in a better market. If you were to sell in a seller's market, you are already walking into so much equity with that appreciation if we're assuming that we have 3 to 4% year after year. You can determine how much you can offer under asking by how many days on market there are. This is not a rule, but you can use 30 to 45 days to be 1 to 3% under asking, or anything over 45 days, you can then increase that percentage. Now, it definitely goes off the opinion of your agent, so it is unique to everyone's scenario. You can tell the seller's motivation by how many price drops they've done. You can also anticipate when their next price drop will be based off of the cadence of their previous ones. So you can tell if it's been 20 days since their last one and they have continuously dropped after 20 days each time, you know that you're about to be coming to a price drop. So that can either tell you to wait to offer until after that price drop and offer under that, or just offer what you think they're gonna drop the price to. Now, to better understand how much to ask in concessions, you can leverage your purchase price off of what you need. So if you need all of your closing costs and a rate buy down, have your lender price out what that 2-1 buy down will be. I advise my clients, if they wanna be more cash heavy after purchasing a home, to probably offer around list price, but ask more of that money for the concessions. Instead of of offering $20,000 under and asking for $5,000 in concessions because they want to save $15,000, I would say to ask for that full amount in concessions and leave the purchase price at asking, because you're going to see much more effect on having that cash in hand when you purchase versus over the 30 years of your loan, because you're not even going to own that house for 30 years most likely, so you will probably be selling before that. So you want to benefit from that cash right now. Now, in a seller's market, you could probably see this as lowballing an offer, but if you're using data to back up your contract, it's not lowballing, it's being strategic. A lot of homes have been sitting on the market for a very long time because they were priced incorrectly. Now, that's not always the fault to the agent, it's just the fault to what's happened in the market over time. Typically, agents are pricing these properties off of the home's true value, but that doesn't mean that the market value is the same as the true value. The value right now that homes are selling at is what the buyer values the home, not market value or its true value. The true value means what the home is actually worth. If there's any updates, if there's a great location, anything of the sort, maybe it's schools, that's that true value that the house should be worth. The market is what determines what's actually being sold, and that market value right now as of November of 2025 is much lower than the house's true value, because that true value would be more sold in a balanced market or even a seller's market. What I do for my clients to make sure that they're getting a good deal and they know how they're getting a good deal is by pricing out the property and what it sold at a year prior or in a seller's market. And we've kind of talked about that a little bit, but this data is really going to show you if that house is worth more in that seller's market and what that house's true value really is. True value is what we really want to hold on to when we're thinking about how we get a good deal, because that true value should be more than what the market value is right now if we're in a buyer's market. So you will know if I buy this house when it last year sold at 600, but right now it's at 565, you know that you're saving a lot of money, because if it were a seller's market, you would be paying more than $600,000. If you're a data-driven person, you can run appreciation projections. You know that your house will appreciate over time. And real estate, it goes in cycles. So we will see a seller's market soon here again when the tables do turn. So do know that right now is an amazing time to buy, because you're able to buy low, and at some point you'll be able to sell high. You'll also know if you're getting a good deal if your offer is under list price and you're getting concessions. So if that seller is not giving the amount of concessions that you need, there probably will be another house that will. So I would make sure when you're writing your offer that you strategize all of these things. The strategy that I'm going with for my clients is writing their best and final offer the first time. The secret to avoiding counter offers and going back and forth is just figuring out what your non-negotiables are. That means what's your maximum amount that you will offer on this house. That will be what are the best terms that you're looking for and what you will not negotiate on. And then know what you're willing to give up. And that might be inspection things, it might be appliances, it might be just small items that don't really matter that much to you as much as certain terms and conditions. You do want to make your best and final offer up front, because you want it to be smooth, clean, and concise, so that seller knows you're serious and so that they can jump on your offer no matter what it is, because they know you're offering what you're going to offer, and if they ask for something else, then you're walking away. So it kind of does put a lot of pressure on them to accept your best and final. This does not mean that you need to be mean, disrespectful, or any of the sort. This means that you just need to be a buyer and a team that's clear and concise for what they're looking for, that you're well qualified and you're ready to work and also easy to work with. So being clear and concise doesn't always mean you're being mean. It just means that you're being straightforward with what you want and you're asking it up front. Play smart and not scared. In a buyer's market, hesitation doesn't cost you anything. So if you see a house and you need a week or two to decide, you are playing a game that it could go under contract, but most likely, since homes are sitting for so long, you may have extra time to make your decision. So take that time and figure out your best and final offer the first time. Make sure you're using data such as comps from the previous year and the current couple months so that you know what you should offer on that house and that you're getting a deal. Try to offer under asking strategically. Don't just throw a random number out there. Real estate is a strategy in general, and we do come up with our prices specifically for a reason. So don't just throw out a number that you think might work and get stuck to it. Have your agent pull the numbers and do your research. You can compare last year's numbers to figure out what this year's savings will be to make sure that when you write your best and final offer, you get accepted the first time. If you want me to walk you through what the best strategy would be for a certain home that you're looking for, comment buyer in the comments below and I'll reach out to schedule a call.